Yeah. My question is this for you. Even though you do all this, I mean, I'm sure you take some vacations with family and you go off that routine of, or do you keep the routine? That's my question. Let's start there. And do you ever find yourself, the follow-up question is that, do you ever find yourself in a scarcity of time in some days when things didn't get done maybe, or the actions weren't complete? And how do you work through that?
Well, I actually don't get the scarcity of time just simply because I do use my will all the time. So when we're going, and it's funny you should say that because we're about to go on a 10-day vacation. So what I'll do is I'll keep the morning schedule. So I'll keep the schedule in terms of the training and the studying, but that's before everybody gets up. And then I've got the whole rest of the day to just play. So by the time that I come back, I'll play. And then if I have to make a phone call or a sales call or whatever it is, I'll take the time to just go off and do it. But I don't obsess over it. I just do it. And then I come back to where I was going. But I never take time off from studying, because here's the one important thing that I really have noticed is that you go down just as fast as you go up if you're not studying and staying in the vibration of exactly what you want all the time. Because I read this from, I believe it was Napoleon Hill, and I'm sure Blaine will know, but essentially the way that our brains are, or our minds, our brains are working, is that we're much more apt to go negative if we're not constantly thinking about what it is we want and staying in that vibration. We will immediately go back. Somebody was once saying, I think it was Peggy McCall, says all it takes is a tiny bit of poison to kill. So it's the same thing with negative thoughts. And so therefore, and right now, again, as we were talking about earlier, we are being bombarded with negativity. And by the way, being part of the media, remember, the media only exists for one thing. It's not, forget what Donald Trump says or anybody else. It exists to sell advertising, to sell toothpaste, to sell toilet paper, to sell whatever it is. There would be no media if there was no advertising. So what's going to attract people? People are looking at all these negative ads these negative stories. And as a consequence, the ratings have just shot up huge. So can you imagine what the advertising rates are right now? They're huge. And so, hey, but if that's how you want to spend your time, great. But I try to encourage people, just stay with what you want. Just think about what you would love. That's it. Nothing else.
And that is, the focus point. I mean, it really is. Keeping focus and keeping in motion.
Really use the imagination.
The imagination, again, is a gateway to the soul. It's a gateway to the spirit.
Yeah.